Hello, everybody. I'm Mike,
And I'm Maria.
and this is TalkAlley.
Hello, Mike.
Good afternoon, Germany.
Yes, good afternoon, Germany, and good evening, Philippines. Hello to those who are listening to us right now from the other part of the world. Welcome to our 67th episode of Talk Alley.
Yes, that's right, Maria. And this is on our last day in celebrating the Pride Month for
Yes,
the month of
oh,
June. And as we all know, that we celebrate the Pride Month in commemoration of the Stonewall riots or also the Stonewall uprising, which happened in the US on June 28, 1969.
yes, that's right. But of course, we can still continue celebrating the community every day.
Mhm.
We should spread love and kindness towards everybody, every
Correct.
human being, every day. So, yes, Mike. But unfortunately, 2 nights ago, there was a really sad event that happened.
Mhm.
The day before Oslo was supposed to celebrate,
Mhm.
the Pride March. But despite the announcement of the cancellation of its Pride March, hundreds of people joined the protest march last yesterday in Oslo, Norway. A few nights ago, two people were killed and more than a dozen were injured after a shooting in an LGBTQ nightclub in Norwegian capital in Oslo.
Yes, this is horrible to hear, Maria. The gunman opened fire at the London pub, which built itself as Oslo's gay headquarters since 1979, as well as a second bar and a fast food restaurant, according to Norwegian media. Here on Talk Ali would like to extend our deepest condolences and prayers to the families and friends and members of the community, to the victims of this crime. Now,
Yes.
Maria, before we introduce
Yes,
our
our deepest
guest,
condolences, you're right, and prayers. Of course, we extend our prayers to everyone who, even to their family, their friends, and to those people who witnessed that horrible event.
yes,
We are very sorry.
yes,
And
yes.
okay,
Now, before
so
we introduce our next guest, we will like you to watch this video. Please watch this.
and Iglesia Filipina Independiente is here to march with you, City of Love. Because we believe that all people, regardless of color, gender, and sexual orientation, are created from the image of God.
Kami sa Academic Union sa UPV, nagapatigid nga ang LGBT rights are human rights. So ipakibato gid naton ang init nga kinamatarong mabuhay kita tanan kag padayon. We are here in full support for the LGBT community, protecting and cultivating diversity, inclusivity, and affirmative movement. Mabuhay tayo lahat! We are partnering to struggle to achieve equality and democracy and genuine freedom in our society.
And today, as we march hand in hand with not only the LGBTQ community, but those who accept us for who we are, we're not asking to be tolerated anymore. We are equal, and we will be accepted.
Not only to celebrate Iloilo Pride, but to continue and to join the struggle for a more compassionate, a more loving Philippines. Tama po ba yun? Yes! And what better place to lead the fight than the city of love? At alam po natin na nagbabantay sa langit, the most beautiful of rainbows come out after the strongest of rains. And And that rainbow is in the heart of each and every one of you. Mabuhay Iloilo Pride! Damo gid nga salamat!
All right.
Wow, that is really beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I was there. Mike, when someone says the city of love here in Europe, what country would cross your mind?
Of course, Paris, with TV series and films and books, the people always depict or refer Paris as to be the city of love, not only for the fashion, as a fashion capital, but a place where people fall in love. So I think it's the language and how Parisians are just chilling all the time. So that's maybe
Yeah.
why they refer to it as the city of love.
You're
Yeah.
right. In fact, my most favorite before sunrise was shot in Paris as well, parts of it. So yeah, it was felt very romantic. Always thinking of the Eiffel Tower and all that. Mike, in the Philippines, we have our own city of love. In fact,
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
right.
it is in fact our hometown. Yes,
Yes.
where we come from, and
Yes.
where I studied. Yeah, my alma mater is in
Yeah, our
Iloilo.
matter, yeah.
And yes, we met there, and it is own our little Paris. So, well, Maria, our guest today is a member of the Iloilo Pride team and head of the city government's first office of LGBT affairs. He's also the head of the Iloilo City Public Employment Service Office. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Alley, Gab Umadhai. Hello, Gab. Thank you for being here with us.
Hi everyone.
Ali.
Thank you for
Hi,
the kind
Gab.
introduction. Hi Mike. Hi Maria. I miss you.
I miss you too, and well deserved, of course. That introduction is not even, you could be, queen of the
Queen of all responsibilities.
Yes, so many. I left there, and you were like, "Oh my God, Gab is like doing so many things for the city." I am so happy, and very privileged to be your friend. I'm so proud of you consistently, especially during the pandemic.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, but before we begin with Gab, Maria, this episode is of course brought to you by
course.
amazing pure organic barley, which provides you with stamina and vigor to survive long hours of play and work. So, for inquiries, please contact Miss Jess Esquilio. You may also contact her at jess@esquilio.de for more information.
I am Maritoni Fernandez, and we are in the middle. I am Maritoni Fernandez, and we are in the middle of a barley field here in Swan Hill, Australia.
Well, we think we have the best barley in the world because of our clean irrigation water. Water comes from the Murray River, which is a freshwater river. All our drinking water comes from the Murray River too. So it's full of nutrients, and also the climate is perfect for growing winter cereals. Clean, green, certified organic.
Yeah, we're certified with NASA, which is one of the Australian certifications for organic. IAM Worldwide gets its barley grass powders from Herbal, which sources them from us at Nutrigreen, so you're guaranteed the best barley grass powders in the world.
I am truly proud to say that we are now the sole distributor in the Philippines for Nutrigreen barley.
Yes, amazing pure organic barley provides you with stamina and vigor to survive long hours of work and play. For inquiries, please contact Miss Jess Esquilio. You may also contact her via email at jess@esquilio.de for more information. So, Gab, yesterday, Iloilo City celebrated Pride Month. Could you tell us more about the event and how long did it take to plan this?
Yeah, Mike and Maria, yesterday we had our first ever after the lockdown. We were actually in 2020. We're really excited to ramp up our game because 2019 was so amazing for the team, and not just only for Iloilo City, but for everyone who aspires to be in Iloilo City. Well, we were in shock when 2020 and 2021 happened, but we were sure that 2022 would be different. That is why this year we joined the whole Philippines in celebrating our Pride March. This is the first time actually that we had different Pride marches around the country. It's usually being held in Manila or in no, in some parts of the country where it's only focused there. But now, because of we understand already that logistics is not a problem. With just the click of an internet, everybody has an access for it.
Yes.
So our Pride March, it was actually just 3 weeks preparation. Iris just knocked into our office and said, "Let's do this. We can do this one." We're just thinking actually of small scale activity. We're just actually having. We were thinking of like putting poster making or such really just online competitions, but. She was the one who persuaded us that it was the nationals who was inviting us, and we can't make Iloilo City be the last city to be unrecognized for the Pride efforts. And that is why we put our best foot forward. We did not expect actually the turnout of participants. We actually just expected around hundreds of participants, but it turned out to be 1,000. We had an expect. We had a estimated crowd of 1,500, and it was really fun. Everything was organic. None was much planned. Even the intermission numbers were all organic. They were these kids were actually just practicing dances at the sides, and we invited them to dance for an intermission number, and they were just ecstatic to share those. So all around, an overview perspective, it was organic. It was true to its meaning that we were all driven for the passion to push forward LGBT rights and making sure that our voices are always counted.
Yes, and if I may, I would like to congratulate you and of course
Yes.
all the rest of the organizers. The event was spearheaded by, of course, the City Government Office of LGBT Affairs, Iloilo Pride Team, the Iloilo LGBTQ Plus Network, and Pride PH, and of course, I've seen it on social media. The event yesterday was really successful. I've seen pictures of it, videos of it. It was so there's so many participants and yes, as you mentioned, thousands of members of the LGBTQ community in the city and province of Iloilo and allies held their One Pride Pajak Kagrampa Sangkaanyag at the Iloilo River Esplanade. So it was really successful, I can truly say, and congratulations to all of you. And why is it important for the city or the province or the country to recognize the existence of the LGBTQA community, which led to the creation of your office?
Maria, the discussion of LGBT rights are also as the same as discussion on why do we need to live? Why do we need to put a focus on? Why do we need to put the lenses on humanitarian mission? It's inevitable that our gender should always be in the discussion because we've been always tolerated of how we perform and how we are in the community. The key word there is tolerance. We don't want to be intolerance, but we want to be accepted for who we are and be included in the services of our government. What's the funny part? What's the good part about here in Iloilo City is that we've been very active. The community has been very, very active about and very passionate about pushing forward LGBT rights. I know Maria has been part of our movements here in Iloilo City. We started 2015. In the 2015 discussion, we were only like 25 people in the room coming out stories, discussing about what do we do, how do we move forward with our advocacies, who would accept us because basically in 2015 all the organizations were for sexually driven organization. These are groups that are not really advocates, but are really would want to meet people, like a dating app. But we want to elevate that discussion because it has a potential to move forward. 2016 we had our first Pride March, and the first Pride March was extended like over 100 people. And during the first Pride March, we had around 10,000 budget only, 10,000 pesos, and that 10,000 pesos budget only came just so much. It was big already for us, the 10,000 pesos.
Yeah.
But came 2018, 26, 17, 18, 19. 2019 was the big bang because we had 5,000 participants. Imagine, from 100 participants to 5,000 participants. And the message was sent. And because of that protest, because of that movement, it had engaged discussions with the legislators, that our organization is getting stronger. We are uniting people to move forward, and we are making voices count. So the Iloilo province had submitted already their own version of anti-discrimination ordinances. A local adaptation of the anti-discrimination is being adopted also in some progressive municipalities. There are 37 municipalities, but not all had their own ADOs. But I'm happy to say that they're in this discussion already. They acknowledge already the importance of putting in an ADO. Second is that we had our GAD code. The GAD code was traditionally, the GAD code was really just to focus on abused women, on the welfare of women. But now we changed it to a more context based and to address really issues on gender based violence. It should be inclusive not only for women but also for men who are abused. Because men, I believe, Mike, you could relate to this. Men can also be abused. Men can also be. I'm not saying that he's
Happens.
abused, but men can be victims of abuse, and we need to put that in discussion too. And with that, LGBT members are always in circumstances of abuse. That is why GAD code should be inclusive and should include gender as a dynamic component of all their programs. Further, finally, we put the pride and we put premium on the mayor's belief of inclusivity, the safe space inclusivity, that he believed that putting up an office of LGBT affairs would really answer to the concerns of the community. Usually, for the previous administration, it's just consultants, it's just temporary possessions. But now we have plantilla possessions for the office of LGBT affairs, and hopefully in the next readings we could allocate budget, because our budget now is from this office of the city mayor. We're really glad that he's really with us, but that's not sustainable. So we're really pushing forward to acquire budget for the office and making sure that we can have an independent program for ourselves. So all of these movements, the protests that we did way back 2015, now bear fruit with this one, with this kind of activities. And our office sets an inspiration not just only for our region but for the different regions who are asking us already, how did we make our ordinance and how can they replicate that. So that's the winning part of it, that we be an example to others, that the small efforts that you give makes a long run for our community.
Yeah. See,
Yes.
I'm just so proud. Imagine how far we've come. I still remember all the drama in 2015.
True.
Who can forget all the drama that we had to go through? But anyway, we set aside all our emotions and personal dramas just to reach these goals. So now we're there.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yes,
like,
and I believe that we are well said also with Gab,
Yeah.
well informed. And
Yes.
what were the worst criticism? What were the worst criticism that you received when you first launched, like the top three, head of your top? So,
Uh,
Top
for
of your
for me,
head.
for
Yeah.
my personal for my personal note, it has always been that I need to prove myself worthy, because I'm in
Mhm.
this gender. When I entered City Hall, it was not a fair game for everyone. Yeah. Some genders had their personal favors. Well, I need to constantly prove that I'm good. I'm excellent with my craft, and I can produce something. And because
Mhm.
of my persistency, that inspired a lot of projects now that are being entrusted to me. But I don't want that to happen to everyone. I don't want that to happen to those who are entering government services or those who are
Mhm.
entering their employments, that they constantly need to prove themselves worthy for the possession just because they are members of the LGBT, just because the
Mm.
stereotypes are too strong that
Yeah.
they need to demystify these stereotypes prior to performing how to excel in their jobs. So if we can proceed to a much stronger anti-discrimination law or bill here in the Philippines, it would be very helpful for the
Mhm.
community to push forward for labor that would really basically address issues like this.
Okay. How involved is the Iloilo City Mayor Jerry Trenyas with these programs for the LGBTQA community?
He was really very much involved in all the
Okay.
discussions. Actually,
Interesting.
the funny part is I was
Yeah.
not the one who asked the mayor if we could be included in his government, in his governance. He was the one who called me. I totally remember it was in one afternoon of June. Just a random call number. I just answered it, and he said, "Come to my office. I want you to be one of my executive assistants that will handle the Office of LGBT Affairs." Dumbfounded, I did not answer anything. I was stoked. I was staring blankly. I don't know how to answer it. I was just don't know how to answer it because that responsibility was too big. Uh, then out of the blue, I said, "Yes, I'll meet you there in the morning." And then I waited for his office, and then in the
Okay.
office just pointed at me, and he said, "From then on, you will be the focal of Iloilo City." And then that's history. So he was
Okay.
really very much involved because he understood how progress would happen, how the true meaning of breakthrough could be if we have proper representation and people who are really excellent with their field.
Iloilo is really very lucky to have a very progressive and kind
Yes.
mayor who is really thinking of the, you know, the people of
Mm.
the city.
Yep.
Really, we're very lucky and we're
Yeah.
very
Iloilo,
thankful. Thank you very much.
Iloilo is blooming. Yeah, not
Yes.
only infrastructure wise, but also acceptance wise.
If of course there's still so many things that needs to be changed and
Mhm.
needs to be. There's still a lot of
One step at a
growth. Yeah,
time.
exactly. But we're getting there also.
Yes.
So, Gab, what is your future programs? What should we look forward to seeing for the people building the city from the office of the LGBTQ affairs?
uh, Maria, thank
Do
you
you
for
have
that.
what do you foresee your office doing pa for the people?
Yeah, to push forward, our office stands with three principles. The first
Mhm.
principle is gender justice. We want to really put in law ordinances that would have teeth to punish the perpetrators and make sure that these won't happen again. Because the problem here
Mhm.
with us is that we'll always have good laws, but there will be no teeth to bite in the perpetrators, and that is why we want to really put the gender justice to all the discrimination that is happening in our community. Though this may not be as severe as others are experiencing, but we don't want to arrive in that situation. That is why we want to be proactive with our law, with our ordinances here in Iloilo City. The second, Maria, that we want is to establish uh, proper health care for our trans sisters, for those who are in transition or wants to be in transition. There are so many victims of misinformation and disinformation with
Mhm.
pills, with transition medicines that causes some that causes some unforeseen circumstances for our brothers and sisters, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want our brothers and sisters to experiment by themselves and no medical advices because they're too afraid to seek a doctor's advice. We want to put in a good medical services for an access for medical services that is non-discriminatory, and it's really tailor fitted for our community. And the third that we have is employment and education. We want to talk to schools. We want to be in the discussion of how do we protect the rights of our trans sisters and brothers who are in academies, that they will not be discriminated by the expressions that they have, and as well as we want to bridge these non-discriminating community into unemployment that is non-stereotypic, that is accepting of how they present themselves, because that's the most common discrimination that we have here in Iloilo, is that they don't easily accept trans women, especially for serious jobs, because they treat these trans women as not serious, or trans men are not given equal opportunities as men because they think that they're still weak, and we don't want that to happen. We want to have safe spaces, opportunities for the members of the diverse OG, that they could be involved in the level of professionalism that they can give for the community, and as well as they can offer so much. They can really offer so much. That is why we want to break that stereotype. So these are the big three pillars that we are hoping to achieve here in Iloilo City, and hoping that this would come true, because basically every 3 years we change administration, and in the change of administration there are another bunch of challenges. The 3 years we've survived it very well, but now I'm really just hoping and praying that we'll make it more another 3 more years. Our office, Mike and Marie, are still just in second reading of the ordinance. We are still waiting for the additional reading, and then after that, that would be the concretized already. So we hope that there would be no devil's advocate to stop the progress of this hearing and push forward this program, really for the community.
Gabby mentioned about healthcare for our trans brothers and sisters. So that includes mental health, right? I just attended a Zoom meeting with, Dino Segura. He had his project When Music Heals, Confronting Depression Through Song. So it's really beautiful. Actually, I'm going to share the link soon on our page. So
Yeah.
it also includes the mental health. You have a mental health program as well for the community.
Hopefully we really want to make an inclusive program for health. As of the moment, we're just focused on the transitions of our brothers and sisters, but we're open to a lot of discussions for mental health, and as well as for HIV/AIDS.
Yeah. They have really good you should connect.
Yeah.
I'll tell I to connect with you.
And that's your
Because they really
assignment.
have a good program. Yeah.
Yeah, connecting
Okay.
is important.
It's really good. Yeah,
Yes.
and it helps. Really. We are really battling mental health right now, especially during the pandemic. So this is really very important.
Okay.
So,
So, Gab, thank you for all these informations. Yes. Just an FYI, these questions has nothing to do. Before we end our talk with Gab, let's ask her a few fun questions. Are you ready, Gab?
fun questions. Okay.
Fun,
Yes,
but how
so,
fun is
these-
fine? Okay.
These questions have nothing to do with our topic or your work. So,
What's your first
Okay.
question?
yes, to our first question. If you were a flavor, what would you be and why?
It would be sweet and spicy. Sweet
Ooh.
because I need to mask myself to be sweet, but as soon as you know me, it would be just fiery hot.
You are.
Good answer. Good answer.
Oh, next question. If you have a superpower, what would it be?
Maybe to replicate myself for a lot of times, multiply myself so that I could do my work as fast as I can and be there every time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, because
good.
he's everywhere.
Yes, that's good.
If you check his social media account, oh my God, he's a host here, he's a CEO of something,
Mhm.
he's a government service worker
Yeah,
and all those things.
one wants to give
Yes.
the best everywhere, and this is
Yes.
understandable. Yes.
Okay. And we
So,
need the best as well.
yes, that's true. So, if you were given a chance to speak to anyone living or dead, who would it be?
Living. Oh, that would be. Oh my, that's a hard question.
Very.
Sige. Maybe for the living, I would love to discuss the RuPaul. I'd love to meet RuPaul. Yeah, and really, he's my icon of drag, a drag persona.
Mhm.
I'd like to meet him and discuss about drag and just how he conquers everything and how he have changed so much messages for the community. So
In
for the
style.
for the live one, it would be RuPaul.
Yeah. In style, no? Not just
Yeah.
come there and, it has to be in style. Yes. Okay. So, final question.
Yes.
If you were to describe your life right now in a song, what would it be? And you have to sing it.
Should it be in
Everyone,
English?
no exceptions here. Everyone do that.
Should
Any
it be in
language.
English or in my own language?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's about your life. So express it the way you want.
Okay.
What song
So
is it?
how do maybe my favorite song is of course Tatsulok. So by Bamboo. So habang
Yeah.
may tatsulok at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos itong gulo. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of
Well done.
Thank you. We know that you're very busy and you're still exhausted from what happened yesterday. I know you also had
Yeah.
fun. But thank you so much for being with us. I've been wanting to have you in the show, and this opportunity and celebration with the Pride Month is just perfect. So thank you so much, Ka, for being with us.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Maria and Mike. Thank you,
And
and to
I'll
every
see you
everyone.
soon.
Yeah,
Yes, thank
I'll
you
see
for
you
being with
soon.
us, you Gab. I hope to have you again
Definitely.
here.
Yes. I'm
Yeah,
coming home soon and I'll be seeing you again.
yay for that.
Yay!
Okay,
See you.
bye.
Love
See
you,
you next
Gab.
time.
Bye.
Thank you, Mike and Maria. Bye
Bye.
bye.
So, yes, proud to be a Longo, right?
Yes, I'm very proud. And of
Yes.
course, Gab is personally my friend and really proud of how, he has dealt with all these problems and was able to figure out things for the community, not just for the LGBTQ community, actually. He has been there ever since when during the pandemic, he was really hands-on with health issues,
Yeah.
with the quarantining of the people there, the ayuda process, everything. He was really hands-on in the
Yeah.
office of the mayor, and I'm really, really proud of what he has done. Um, yeah, people might not know it, but this is the time and opportunity to tell them all that there are people who are just like silently working for the community, who are really honestly working because they really love to help others. So there's Gap, and I hope people will be watching this show after their work, especially the OFWs who are here in Germany and other parts of the world. I hope you will be inspired that in our country there are people like Gab who are really very hardworking and just really spending your taxes well.
Yes. So, Gab, thank you for your services. Also for the Iloilo Pride team, thank you for your services and
For the
all.
Iloilo government as
Yes.
well. This is a good example. This is a good example of a province and a city who is really working for the benefit of its people.
Yes, we also
So
thank
thank you very
we
much.
also thank our mayor, Jerry Pitreñas, for helping
And for being there for the people of
being
Iloilo.
so progressive as well.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you. Palangga namon kamo tanan.
Yes.
Damo gid nga salamat.
Yes. So to all listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in for this episode 67 of the City of Love, which is Iloilo, our alma mater and our little Paris.
They are, yes.
We wish you a happy Sunday. Yes, the temperatures are scratching on the 30 degrees mark. We're going out and have some fun still with the family, and wishing you a good start in the next week. This is Mike.
This is Maria.
And this is Talk Alley. Bye.
See you again next week.
Bye.
You white shirt mo,